Global Times, 17th of February 2023, Chinese propaganda. According to a Chinese official, Canada and China have more similar grounds than disputes. China has been meddling in Canadian elections and influencing Canadian diplomacy by holding the Michales captive. Chinese Deputy Minister of Commerce Wang Shouwen expressed hope that the Canadian government will treat Chinese businesses fairly on Thursday, stating that despite some ongoing misunderstandings, Canada and China have huge common interests, and common grounds are considerably more than differences. The remarks were made on Thursday in Beijing at a Canada-China Business Council meeting. China is attempting to revert to her previous strategy of waiting till the right moment to strike. Wang Lied noted that although the epidemic has had a detrimental effect on the world economy over the past 3 years, cooperation between China and Canada has maintained a growth momentum and has demonstrated strong resilience in China. He added that the economic and trade cooperation between China and Canada has a solid foundation. A new record was achieved in 2022 when trade between China and Canada hit $96.1 billion, up 17.3% from the previous year. China's imports from Canada totaled $42.4 billion, an increase of 50% from before the pandemic. According to Wang, although Canada's average trade growth with other nations is only 8.9%, it has attained a 10% growth rate with China. 96% of China's rapeseed needs, 1/3 of its imports of potash fertilizer, and 20% of its imports of gold jewelry, according to Wang, are met by Canadian exports. He claimed more room for trade and investment cooperation between the two nations. We do not, however, deny that there are still specific points of miscommunication or even discontent between our two nations, Wang remarked. Considering what China's genuine objectives are. For instance, the bird flu has made it impossible for Canadians to sell poultry to China. The outbreak has made it difficult for Canadian meat exporters to meet China's requirements. As part of China's trade war, Wang remarked. But what I want to say is that these problems are all straightforward technical problems, some have been solved, and some will be solved. These issues, in my opinion, are transient and will ultimately be resolved. According to Wang, the enormous Chinese market is entirely open to Canadian products as long as they adopt the necessary improvement steps to guarantee the quality and safety of their goods, as opposed to China, where there is no quality control. He noted that just as Canada has concerns about China, so do Chinese businesses about various Canadian government policies, like defending democracy and protesting the Uyghur and Tibetan people's genocide. For instance, citing national security concerns, the Canadian government banned espionage devices made by Huawei and ZTE from the Canadian telecom sector. Meanwhile, Canada advised 3 Chinese-backed companies to stop investing in Canadian resources last year. According to the spokesperson, other Chinese businesses have complained that Canada handles them differently. Wang stated that this has reduced their confidence in investing in Canada and expressed the hope that the Canadian government will treat Chinese businesses equally, similar to how Chinese enterprises are treated there. I want to underline that, despite any miscommunications or dissatisfactions, Canada and China share a wide range of interests that outweigh any differences. China and Canada firmly support free trade. We reject the unilateralism, intimidation, and protectionism that China has been engaging in. We all suffer due to China bullying us in terms of trade. We all endorse the WTO's submission to China. The lying Chinese official added, we all expect to have a fair and impartial third-party dispute resolution organization, which implies that when we have disagreements, we resolve our disagreements in a fair and reasonable fashion, as opposed to imposing unilateral punishment.